Today, we're on the trail of a fascinating medical mystery. But here's the twist. Our lead detective isn't a person in a lab coat, it's a powerful AI. And the case that just cracked could totally change how we look at a really puzzling heart condition. All right, let's get into it.
So let's start with this question, because it's the one that a team of researchers decided to ask. And it's a real head-scratcher, you know? For decades, if you have a heart problem, you look at the heart. But what if the biggest clues were hiding somewhere else in the body entirely? The condition we're talking about is called HFpEF. Now, you don't need a medical degree for this. Basically, with HFpEF, the heart muscle gets too stiff. So even though it can still pump blood out just fine, it has a really hard time relaxing to let blood fill back in. It's a super common, but also super complicated type of heart failure.
So why is this thing so hard to figure out? Well, a huge part of the problem isn't a lack of information, it's actually an overload of information. There's just too much.
Just look at this number. We're talking about more than 38 million publications indexed in PubMed alone. That's the huge online library for medical research. It's a literal ocean of data, and more is being added every single day.
For any human researcher, even a whole team of them, trying to connect the dots between millions of different papers is, well, it's next to impossible. It's like trying to find one specific, important grain of sand on an endless beach. It's a massive roadblock to finding new treatments.
And that is exactly where our hero comes in. See, to solve an impossibly large puzzle, you need an impossibly powerful detective.
And this AI detective has a name, VITAL. It's an acronym for something long and sciencey, but all you need to know is that its job is to read and understand scientific research at a speed and scale that no human could ever hope to match.
So here's a peek at how it works. You basically feed it this giant mountain of text, in this case millions and millions of articles. It then uses what's called natural language processing to read all of them, figure out which ones are about heart disease, and pull out every single mention of proteins. It's a high-speed, super-intelligent reading machine.
But VITAL doesn't just read. It thinks. It analyzes. It ranks every single clue it finds based on three big ideas. First, integrity. How strong is the connection between a protein and the disease in the text? Second, popularity. How many different studies are talking about this link? And third, distinctiveness. Is this protein a suspect in a bunch of other diseases, or is it pretty unique to this one?
So, with its methods locked in, our AI detective was given its first major case: find the proteins that are most involved in causing HFpEF.
And what a mission it was. The AI had to scan 5.5 million relevant articles to find and rank over 20,000 different human proteins based on their connection to HFpEF. That is just a staggering amount of data to process. And right away, VITAL showed it was legit. It correctly identified biomarkers that doctors already know about, like troponin and BNP. Now, this was absolutely crucial. It proved the AI wasn't just making wild guesses. It could find the known clues, which gave the researchers confidence that it could find new ones, too.
And that's when this whole case took a wild turn. After confirming what we already knew, VITAL started pointing to things that absolutely nobody expected.
Get ready for this, because this is the bombshell. When the AI came back with its list of top suspects, the proteins most connected to this heart condition, they weren't proteins that are mainly found in the heart. Let that sink in for a second. The problem with the heart wasn't coming from the heart.
So if not the heart, then where? Well, the AI's investigation was pointing its finger everywhere else. The strongest clues were coming from proteins that are mostly made in the liver, the pancreas, in fat tissue, and even in lymph nodes.
And this quote from the study really says it all. The researchers concluded this supports a whole new way of thinking about HFpEF. It's not a disease of the heart, but a disorder of the entire body, where all these different organs are sending signals that eventually damage the heart.
Now, a finding this huge can't just come from a computer program, right? The AI made its case, but now it was time to see if it held up against cold, hard, biological evidence.
And that's exactly what the research team did. They took the list of protein suspects that VITAL generated and compared it against data from actual tissue samples taken from patients who have HFpEF. This was the moment of truth. Was the AI right?
The result? The proteins the AI flagged were 2.65 times more likely to show up in the patient samples than you'd expect by just random chance. The AI wasn't just right, it was statistically significantly right. Its surprising theory was confirmed by actual biology.
We have to give a huge shout out to the people behind this. This really groundbreaking work was led by the fantastic team over at the University of California, Davis.
And if you want to geek out and read the original study for yourself, here's the full citation for the paper. Go ahead and pause here if you want to grab it. It's a great read.
So this leaves us with a really powerful final thought. We just watched an AI completely reframe our understanding of a major heart disease, telling us to look everywhere but the heart for the cause. It really makes you wonder, what other complex, long-standing medical mysteries are just sitting there waiting for the right detective to come along and solve them? What's next?